One of the first and most important steps to actually leveling up in any form of your life, at least for me, is accepting that you're wrong at something or accepting that you're at fault. I know that we all have an ego and we like to, portray ourselves as perfectly as possible every time. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong when wanting to be right all the time. But there comes a point when if you're wrong at something, if you're lacking at something, and people point you out for it, you have to accept it. Um, I've seen some people, throughout my life, they can be so wrong at something. They can be so wrong at something, and everyone would have already proved it to them, and yet they will fight and try to make themselves sound correct. And I'll tell you one thing, that is one of the worst mindsets that you can possibly have, because if you have this mindset, you're literally stopping yourself from growing. You just don't want to accept that you're wrong. Inside, deep inside, you may even know that you're wrong, but you just keep kind of denying that and denying that and denying that again and again and again. And what happens is you're not allowing yourself for growth. It's like this little brick, and you need to sometimes break that brick to actually know what's inside that, and you can know what the issue is and then work on it and improve it. If you don't know what the issue is, how are you going to improve? There's nothing wrong with thinking that you're correct or you're right at something. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But when you're wrong at something and like you know it and it's like literally right in front of you, you have to accept it. There's no point sitting and fighting and trying to point yourself correct even at that stage anymore. There's literally no more point. You have to just accept it and just put your ego aside for once and then let yourself accept that you're wrong and then move on and go from there. You don't just hold on to that more and more. You're wrong, accept it. A couple of weeks back, I noticed that I was spending a lot more time on social media than I would have liked. I kind of gave myself the excuse that, okay, I'm posting videos on all the platforms, so let me just keep these apps on my phone. And I'm not one to just blindly delete these apps and then download it again like a lot of people do. I actually think they're very useful. People think our social media is just bad for you. A lot of what I know right now, I wouldn't have known if it wasn't for social media. So I don't think social media is necessarily bad for you. I think if you use it smartly enough, it can actually be very good for you. But I noticed that I was spending a lot more time than I would have liked to. I mean, spending at least 1 hour scrolling on Instagram was not ideal after every gym session. I was literally, I used to be on the treadmill. And no, I was giving myself the excuse that it's fine, but it's not fine. There comes a point when you're scrolling on social media too much to the point where you can like literally feel, especially if you're very aware of your thoughts, you know that, okay, it's clamming your head up too much. There's too many stuff going on in your head, a simple thing, and you start overthinking it. Not because that's how you are, it's because of these reels, because of the stuff you're watching on social media. And I decided, what, I'm gonna get rid of this, and deleted everything outside YouTube, of course. And this isn't me to this isn't to point out, oh, I'm just so great because I deleted social media. I know a lot of people think that you are great if you delete social media. I remember people in my school, they used to delete Instagram and then post a very emotional story on Instagram too. I'm leaving social media, guys. It's a nice journey and stuff like that. It's just very sad. I mean, if you delete Instagram and you think that's a very cool thing. anyways, there's nothing great about the fact that I did that, but it's not about me doing this, but more so an example of accepting that you're wrong. It's been like what, 2 or 3 years now since I've known what self-improvement is. And I don't really like the word self-improvement anymore, but if you know what it is, you probably know that people are kind of against social media or don't scroll on Instagram and stuff. And I'm well aware of that, but it got too much, and I'm like, you know what, okay, this is too much, I'm going to delete everything. I deleted everything. And again, this is not to brag about myself, but to give you an example of no matter how great you are at something, how possibly correct you may be at something, there may be a certain weakness, a certain vulnerability in something about you, and you need to accept that sometimes. And only if you accept that can you actually grow. You're not going to grow or level up in any aspect of life if you don't accept that you're weak at something. That ego is especially for men. I know that it's not natural for you to accept that you're defeated or you're wrong in something, but at times you kind of just have to. You literally have to. It's smarter to agree that you're wrong and work on it than just cling on to that. Oh, I'm right. Everything I do is excellent. It's not excellent. We all are not perfect. I'm here sitting and saying this. It's not like I'm perfect. It's not like I'm super disciplined every single day. No, I'm not. There are times when I'm like, oh, freaking buff my alarm off and sleep an extra 30 minutes. It happens, right? But over a long period of time, if you notice that you're consistently having a point in your life where it's having an aspect of your life that you feel is hurting you or affecting you in a negative way, then you have to take action against it. You have to take a action against it. And that's key. There are people who just ignore that and then make that their entire life. You don't want to be that person. You want to notice the issues and then correct them, take action against them. So yeah. And for me, it was spending too much time on freaking Instagram and social media. For you, it could literally be anything else. It could be your mindset. It could be having negative thoughts every time. It could be not putting enough effort into things that you need to put effort into. It could literally be whatever. It's only you who knows it. Don't sit there and wait for things to happen. Like, you need to take action, accept that you're wrong, and grow and level up. And yeah. Because if you don't, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you don't accept that you're wrong, it'll just make you stay stuck at this level. You're not gonna go up, you're not gonna go out. I don't think you're gonna go down, but if at all you are gonna go down, you're never gonna progress upwards if you don't realize what your weak points are. Yeah.